On Monday, in the city of Cali, Canada began the first round of formal negotiations to forge a free trade agreement with the Pacific Alliance. Along with 3 other nations, Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore, the Canadians are looking to become an associated state of the trade bloc, which includes Colombia, Mexico, Chile, and Peru. The Pacific Alliance has become one of the most successful economic marriages in the hemisphere, and the Canadian government sees increased economic integration as a great step to grow its trade in the region. The sit-down is the culmination of an invitation extended this summer by the Pacific Alliance. Canada has been an observer nation to the alliance since 2012. The negotiations begin at a time when economic relations with Canada's primary trading partners in the hemisphere, through the North American Free Trade Agreement NAFTA, face their greatest uncertainty since the nations entered their historic alliance in the early 1990s. Though the rhetoric coming out of the White House is not as hostile toward NAFTA as it was in the early days of the President Donald Trump administration, the 3 nations are involved in renegotiation talks that could lead to some significant changes to an agreement that the U.S. head of state threatened to abandon altogether in the initial months of 2017. For Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his government, looking to other economic partners serves as both insurance in the event that NAFTA provisions worsen its position in North America and as a part of its ongoing mission to increase exports. In particular, its desire to become an associated state of the Pacific Alliance would give the country another arrangement with Mexico, by far its largest trade partner among the 4 Latin American nations. François-Philippe Champagne, Canada's Minister of International Trade, has previously taken trips to Colombia, as well as Chile and Mexico, in the lead-up to the talks and says that he is very excited by the untapped potential for trade with the Latin American bloc. Specifically, he cited the growing middle classes and open, market-driven economies as sources of optimism for increased interaction. We share a goal of greater regional economic integration and freer, more progressive trade that can help create more middle-class jobs and opportunities, said Champagne. This new step represents a strategic opportunity for Canada to advance its ambitious, progressive and diversified trade agenda with important and like-minded emerging markets. In a statement, the Government of Canada also said that a free trade agreement with the Pacific Alliance offers the prospect to modernize and streamline our existing bilateral agreements with all 4 Pacific Alliance countries, expand key aspects of these agreements, as well as include progressive trade elements, such as gender, labor, environment and SMEs. In all, Canada's trade with the 4 countries within the Pacific Alliance last year amounted to $36.2 billion, according to the government in Ottawa. This represented more than 3/4 of the nation's total trade with Latin America. The bulk comes from the $30.8 billion in bilateral trade with Mexico. For Canada, Colombia represents the smallest partner of the 4 nations at just $1.2 billion in bilateral trade last year. Due to the lower price of oil in recent years, this is actually down from the $1.7 billion in trade in 2014, and it marks about half of the $2.4 billion in trade Canada did with Peru in 2016. Chile was right in the middle at $1.8 billion.